closer to the camera.
What is up, Paragon Community? We are here with the dev team for the launch of The Fey. We have 2 community guests as well. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
All right, we got Nathan Mooney here.
That's me.
Adam Belfuel,
Hi.
Jawan Peterson.
Hey.
Adam is the designer that worked on The Fey, and Jawan is from Comp QA, helped test and basically hone out all of the kinks and kind of design elements to bring Fey together. Now, I am the host, KL Smith. I'm the community manager for the game, and as always, we run through the normal crew that'll be on the show. We have Jordan Walker, who's our lead artist. He will be up here after these to get off with Jay Hosfeld, our lead animator. And we have 2 community guests, Ali, aka TheMyth, and Dan, or Pantog, as you guys know. Both of those guys stream over on Twitch, and we'll be talking to them a little bit after Jay and Jordan on. So I'm looking forward to talking about The Fey. She will be our first caster introduced to the world of Agora. So I can't wait to talk about that. Before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the community updates. We did the hero race for Greystone. I want to run through the winners for that. Be certified back-to-back. He won Chimera and then won Greystone. So congratulations to him. And we had Crash, Face, Cubics.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it's. I feel like that's how it's pronounced. So we were debating this before.
Yeah, we were.
I feel like it's Crash unimpressed face cubics or just Crash faced cubics, like face cubics.
But he doesn't actually have a face. It's like the 2 lines and then
it's
the
like
underscore.
it's like I'm unimpressed with what you've done. Face, like that's the face.
Or maybe nothing is challenging for him, and so like
it's like
everything
Crash,
is easy.
cubics. Like
So
that's what it is.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
And then third, we had Stargus. So congratulations to those guys. We did hit the community goal, which we actually was a little lower than we anticipated. So as we going through a lot of the community goals and rewards, us being in early access and having PS Plus, which just wrapped up, we kind of lowballed you guys a little bit. We had the pre-existing, was it 400 million cumulative XP earned for Greystone, and they hit that. You guys hit that in like 25 hours, so we had to extend it to 1.2 billion. This time we're not lowballing you guys for The Fey. We have it at 1 billion XP. So if you guys can hit that, then the community will earn 5 card packs. So hopefully once she releases, we'll see some more fantastic play from everybody in the community. The other thing we wanted to go over was the community vote for the weekly card pack series for V3O. So we had Barrier of Will win for the very first selection for Intellect. That's a 22 physical armor card, 75 mana, and the unique active on that is it allows you to shield yourself and nearby allies for 5 seconds. The 29.1 card is going to be, the 30.1 card is going to be Meltdown, which is a Fury card. It's 15.2 energy damage, 16 energy pen, and it has an upgrade bonus of 7.6 energy damage. And the 30.2 card is Hunter's Drink, which is one of the newer rare cards that was introduced not too long ago. And you're going to have +6 plus the player level's health regen for 15 seconds. So those are the 3 winners for the V3O series. We will have 29-1 card pack coming out tomorrow with The Fey. And then next week we have the 29-2. So that is pretty much it. I wanted to give a shout out to Paragon Masters that was in the stream watching quite a bit of some of those intense matches, triangle formation against, who was the first team? I want to say it was Evolve, but that's not right. Oh man, I can't remember who it was. Anyway, that was an awesome game, and then it was SOA versus Evolve was the second matchup, which I ended up seeing. Both guys and the teams did well, and the hosts were fantastic for that as well. So did any of you guys catch?
Of course.
That?
Always watch the replays.
Yeah, some good stuff.
Catching up was
The triangle
exciting.
formation match the first day or the first Tuesday was really intense. They almost lost. They hadn't lost in a really long time. So since like Agora Rising 2, I believe.
Which is crazy to think
Yeah.
about.
So looking forward to the finals. I believe they are tomorrow. So if you guys want to check those out, we'll probably be tweeting it. You guys can view the Paragon Masters, which is a community-run tournament. So shout out to all the communities that are running tournaments. I know Gameaholics is running some over in Germany. Agora Rising, which is Shane and Notch, doing it here in NA, and then Paragon Masters as well. So awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. Now we're gonna get straight on over to the Fey. We want to show you guys the announced trailer that we released last week, and then we'll talk with Adam and Juwan about the hero.
Nature breathes. Sometimes she screams. They think nature will fight back. But they're wrong. Balance will be restored.
Awesome trailer.
Yes.
Yes.
It looks like there's some new flora coming to Agora. So.
You were waiting for that.
You had to do it.
Yeah. Yes. Of
Did
course.
did you get turned down on that one? Or
No,
that
no,
one
no.
get-
That was. I think that was. I mean, I approved it. I approved my own pun.
So, look, a little story here before we get in. I'm sorry, guys. Every time we release a new hero, this guy right here tries to put all types of puns out for the hero.
Yeah, because I'm you know I'm a classy man. Puns, fantastic. Always make anything you write better
There was
or
about
say better.
There was about 3 or 4 that you tried with.
Yeah.
With the Fey.
Yeah. The Flora one just kind of came to me. I was just like, this rhymes. It's fantastic.
Even when we shoot you down, you slip them into the
He's-
stream here.
he's
So, yeah,
still
either one way or
manages
the
to
other.
put him in.
Pre-screened all of us too.
I mean, it's like a litmus test. I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm just testing to see how it
How
might
people
perform.
react?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And if it's a negative reaction, then I ignore it because there's no way it could possibly be negative.
Then you just move on to the
Yeah,
next
move
one.
on to the positive.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thick skin.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway, so Adam was a hero designer. Can you kind of talk about some of the goals you had in mind with the Fey when you kind of were constructing her kit, and what kind of mindset you were in for her specifically?
So we knew right off the bat we wanted to make a caster support hero. So that kind of looked like a control mage. So we knew she needed a bit of control, but we wanted to give her a little bit of autonomy if she wanted to, take it off lane.
Right.
So she has a bit of wave clear as well. Her theme right from the start was she had to be a force of nature. So that's the theme is strong.
Right.
And then we also thought it was a good opportunity to make our first flying hero. So she spends most of her time in the air flying.
It's pretty cool. So with her, there's a lot of, well, one, she's a first caster, right? Introducing you. You said the goal in mind was to make a caster support. What in your mind kind of represents, at least when you look at it from a design standpoint, what type of abilities for you represent like support and the way that she kind of controls the battlefield?
Right.
What did you have in mind specifically?
So the big one, of course, is the ultimate.
Right.
She puts a big plant in the world, and that pulls everybody to a point. I mean, it's a great team fight setup.
Right.
Or hold everybody back. And then she also has a line ability that does a big slow, and that slow is going to take effect the entire time you're standing on it, and then you step off of it, and it lasts for 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really powerful slow, especially in the jungle. If you put that down in a narrow area, it's gonna be
right.
Like
she cut off the whole jungle.
She
Yeah.
can kind of like control the boundaries of like a team fight if she wanted to or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Were there any, like, as you kind of put the kit together, was there any like roadblocks where you guys, especially you talking with Juwan, was there anything specific where you guys kind of looked at it and were like, we probably need to redo this or make some adjustments?
Her abilities went through a bit of iteration, especially the ultimate.
Oh, yes.
The ultimate, we were trying to find a good balance of readability for the person being pulled. We want you to know that you're about to get pulled by this thing.
Right.
And there's also a bit of counterplay there too, where it actually does line of sight from the plant. So if you put it in the jungle and you get tethered by it and you can juke around a corner, you can actually break the tether. So finding kind of the parameters on there where it's reliable control, but it also has a bit of counterplay to it if you're not smart with where you place it. So it's
see, you guys got a tip. Got a tip right there. Now, I guess I'm kind of wondering, because she can fly, right? Was there any? Did you guys run through any scenarios where that might, play into how her kit would be designed?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, you could see kind of her Q ability. She kind of dives down and touches the ground, and her I mean, a lot of her emotes, I mean, you'll see her kind of sit on the ground and do other things. It just kind of it reinforces that, she's flying, and when you see her actually touch the ground, it's kind of a unique
the thematic element that she kind of ties herself to the, like all of the plants and the stuff of Agora. I guess when she sits down, but when she's kind of disconnected from the world, she's just kind of this seemingly harmless sprite, but then all of a sudden, just these plants are suffocating you.
Right.
They're attacking you.
Yeah. Taking you down.
Was there any type of big design inspirations for you kind of going into this?
The Q ability, we knew we wanted to make a line place ability. It's kind of a MOBA staple. When you have a flat ground, it's a little easier to do that. So I wanted to try and create an ability that was a line placement, but that would work with our 3D environment. So we came up with a way to make the line placement in segments so that it actually go up hills or conform, to the terrain.
To the terrain, yeah, totally.
Cool.
So that was a big one, and then of course, the ultimate. We wanted to have that be a big impactful moment with the plant, and see it pull everybody in.
Now, everyone always asks this on stream, and we kind of go through it. We've kind of iterated on this now, but her affinities, I believe, are growth and intellect.
Yes.
Was there any debate on? I obviously I think growth was the obvious one, right?
I mean, she's a force of nature. She has to be green.
So was there anything, were you guys thinking about anything else initially when trying to put those two together?
Because with Chimera, I know we talked about that there were some swaps closer to the end of his. Because of just some identity questions.
Yeah, her kit, as it was kind of going through we were putting it through the paces, her E ability was a little bit different, and I think at one point we were thinking maybe white for her, but with the current kit. It made sense that she's blue.
Right.
The E is the ability where it's a projectile, and if you hit an enemy hero with it, it refunds your mana.
Yes.
So that's a really good, lane poke, harass ability.
That's Harvester Nettles?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Or Harvest Nettles. Okay. Juwan, from your side, when you took her through the paces with comp, what type of kind of immediate strategies were you implementing for your playtest when you got the opportunity to play her?
The biggest thing I did first was how can I set up my team, because that's what she seemed like she fit well. I took her to the support with my carry. It doesn't matter who. And what can I do to make myself impactful was build some early damage and start poking them down. And I was like, yeah, this feels really good. Okay, so what else can I do? We started using the Q a little bit more, slowing down so you can't get ganked very often by the jungler, early wards. And going into that mid game, you're like, okay, who else do I have on my team? As you saw in the trailer video,
right?
Steel coming in. That's probably the wombo combo right there. You get 3, 2, 4, set them all up, and then Steel comes down on them and cleans them all out.
What type of what type of scenarios? You mentioned the Steel ult. What type of scenarios do you feel like really synergizes with her the best? You mentioned the wombo combo. Is there a specific, when you guys are going through your drafts, I know how it is down there. When you guys are going through those drafts and you're having a match, are you guys trying to coordinate like, okay, I'm picking Fey today, and then setting up who else needs to pick who?
Yeah, most of the time you'll see someone. So we don't try to give it because we're all right next to each other. We don't want to give it away, so we'll just type in who we're playing and then lock in, and so they don't get an idea who we're trying to play against that. So we don't want to give our strategies, of course. You know, you guys can make some tries and make some better ones.
Trade secrets.
Exactly. But my personal favorite is the Fey and Gideon. Just because of the double pull.
Yeah.
That I think that's really cool. Of course, setting that up with anyone else is just as well.
Okay. When you and Adam were talking, what were some of the things that, at least early on in the kit's design, were you trying to go back and forth with him on in terms of trying to help it flesh out the kit?
The Q was the first thing I'm pretty sure I started helping him with. It was a little short ranged, and we went through multiple steps of making it longer through levels, and then had an iteration where we just kind of let's make it at its full length at the first level, so she can put her points somewhere else at the early game, so she could be a little bit stronger and help out our team more and not be confined on that one ability.
Okay. So I'm wondering, you mentioned building damage. What type of cards do you kind of pick throughout for ones that are live, right? Do you feel like are the most applicable for her when you take her into combat?
Venom Shell, that's the one that gives damage
and defense,
and then the counter one of that, depending on who I'm against. Of course, you got to have your nice utility if you're playing that support role. If you're playing caster, not so much. But I mainly like to play her as a support because I like setting up my team. So a Shockwave, Berry of Will, the nice cards on her.
Yep. All right. If you had to specifically pick a moment in time with her where there was a major highlight for either of you two, what would it be? And this is like I'm reaching a little bit because I want to hear how you dominated comp. That's what I was going for, guys.
Stroke your ego, Jawan.
Okay. So she excels in the jungle. It's already narrow pathways in the jungle. Right. So when you put down her ultimate ability, it's also a blocker. So if you put that in a place they're trying to escape while also pulling them, anyone can set up off of this. You can have Howitzer, Gideon, Steel. So there was specifically a time where we were fighting in the jungle, and I got a nice Venusaur on the exit. So everyone got pulled to the exit, so they tried to run that way, but they couldn't because of the blocker that was there.
Right. Okay.
So it's like showing somebody the door and then slamming it in their face. That's exactly what that's like. You were just like, here's the exit. Just kidding. And then they're dead, right? That's
exactly. That's exactly what I was going for. You put my actions into words.
Adam, do you have anything from the?
Yeah, I've seen a cool video from one of you guys' playtests where there was a Sevarog and the enemy got attached to the Fey's ultimate, and the Sevarog batted him up in the air, and the ult pulled him back down. Yeah, it was amazing. Yes. Yeah, it's a great play.
Oh,
that's got to be good.
Really cool
I now need to see that.
Yes, that's.
You think you're going somewhere until she just brings it right back.
Oh,
that's like thanks for saying. Oh, okay, never mind.
So that's all we got for these two. Thank you so much for coming up. We're gonna get Jay and Jordan up to talk about animation and art for the Fey. I really appreciate it, guys. Hope you guys learned a little bit about it. We got even more coming very soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, we're back with Jordan and Jay. Jordan, lead artist, and Jay, lead animator on the project. So I got a lot of questions. I don't know if Mooney has some.
Oh, no, I'm super excited about this because first we had the boiling water,
Right.
Now we have flowers.
Yeah.
There are actual flowers being spawned. Like this, that I could sit just in. This is why I can't play the Fey, because I'm just going to be in mid lane looking at flowers.
Right.
My team's going to be in a team fight. They're like, oh, can you ult? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. This is flowers here. It needs my attention.
So that, I don't know how many people actually pick up on that in the announced. That's one of the things I gravitated towards. That a lot of people were talking about it from just the community team alone. What kind of sparked we should put flowers at the end of her ability if it hits the world?
Yeah, so like obviously she's this hero about growth and like, you know, she uses plants for her abilities. So our effects artist, Thomas Browett, who is, you know, tasked with, you know, making all of her abilities work and creating the visuals for those, he started working on like her base attack. And then he shows us a video one day where if the base attack hits a wall, a flower spawns. And if it hits a hero, it actually puts a flower on that hero.
Oh my.
And then just every single ability he started, you know, creating, everything spawns something in the world. And it just helps drive home that concept of like, she's, you know, creating this growth and has plants growing.
It's like the cycle of like you create what you take out of the world.
Yeah, and the cool thing too is like, so I guess her E ability, you know, like returns mana or whatever if it hits. And so if it hits something, it's the color of mana. And then her other abilities that leave plants in the world, the flowers that grow on them are team colored, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's blue or orange if you see it.
Yeah, depending upon like your team, like what, you know, how you are relative to her plants or whatever.
So is there a timer on the flower itself?
Yeah, so yes.
So my question would be, if I stack attack speed and I want to throw a bunch of flowers on your face, I could actually do that. See a couple of them, right?
Yeah, for a while, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they definitely have to fade out.
Attack speed the Fey just to spawn flowers.
So, you know, for, you know, talking with Adam, he said that nature was a big portion of this. Did you guys have like in mind from at least an art direction immediately when you knew what type of hero we were going for, the direction you wanted to take her?
Yeah, I think as far back as at least I was involved, it was, this is this fairy type creature that can fly, and she grows plants, and everything about her is in relation to plants. It's like her concept was super straightforward, and you know, everybody was able to get behind that, you know, since as far back as I can remember, which worked out really well for the team.
Right. Yeah. Would you say, based off of some of the previous heroes, because you guys kind of knew what you wanted with her from the get-go, that it was more straightforward? I know there was there's a change in terms of how we wanted her to look right before we released her, but was that like easier to come by than some of the previous heroes, or would you say it was just as challenging?
I think she was a bit more straightforward than other heroes, right? It's like her abilities lended herself nicely to plants and stuff, right? Like her right mouse button doing damage in an area. It's like multiple artists were like, yeah, let's put a plant down that starts to like balloon up and then like explode with gas or whatever.
Right.
So it was worked out pretty nicely that she was just straightforward.
Okay. Clint, can you play the video of just her that Jordan made? Yeah, that one there. So I want to talk a little bit about the wings as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know they've gone through a couple different iterations.
Mm-hmm.
What was the kind of the goal with putting her wings together?
Yeah, so one thing that we ran into her abilities and stuff were pretty straightforward, but the challenge that we did have was, since she's like plant and growth themed, a couple iterations, she just kind of like blended into the environment too much, right? So originally she was mostly green and kind of plant colored.
Yep.
And so we started having to say, okay, let's start throwing some like complementary colors in there. Let's do some purples and stuff just to break her off, you know, from the environment.
Right.
And so for her wings specifically, we tried to give them this sort of, you know, like magical look. There's an iridescence to it.
Yep.
And then we do a couple things too where, you know, we'll like, she has the flowers on her back that will glow a bit just to give her, you know, stuff that helps her pop out on your screen when you're playing as her.
Now, are there any, Tim was telling us about, was it Richter? Richter and Greystone, I believe. Now, they both have, like, Greystone, for example, has the thing that lights up on his back when his ult is ready. Does she have anything similar
She
to
does
that?
have the purple flowers on her back that glow, and I actually cannot remember if they glow when her ult's ready.
Okay.
but it may. I know we discussed it at one point.
Okay.
Yeah, because Richter has like the when he triggers his right mouse button or the R1, he preps his chains and like they get lit up and it like starts rolling because you know you're ready to silence. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, because I know with the wings, it was interesting because that came up. The wings also came up in the Grim stream because the like the imp like
Grim?
had with the with the like the wings, like people were like we were talking back and forth about like the different kinds of wings. And they talked about like some like hurdles. Was there any hurdles like when like animating the wings and stuff? Jay, you might be able to speak to that.
Yeah, one thing was, you know, we wanted her wings to look good, but the problem was they got really close to the reticle and they tended to steal the show in the beginning when we did add the effects. So it was this balance of having them there, but also keep them not kind of drawing your eye to them the whole time and getting in the way. But other than that, you know, it's lots of motion blur helps. And
yeah, we kind of have to do a trick where we fade out the wings as they move quicker, and then we blend in this other thing that looks like just a blurry picture of wings like flapping back and forth.
Okay. So does weight play a factor in like how you wanted to animate? Because for example, Grim is very small, right, with his wings, so he's more insect-like, and she's obviously has like the humanoid form. So does weight play a factor in how she would I guess
like the cadence
suspend?
of her,
And I think there's a actual video. There's a one where she's like moving back.
Right.
As a portion of that. Can we show that one?
yeah, that's so this animation right here is an animation for when we have her change direction. You actually don't see the wings flapping in this animation because we overlay those the whole time. But, you know, there's different styles of flying. So right up front, we knew that we wanted her to be very quick. So we looked to hummingbirds and that kind of wing flapping, or maybe like a dragonfly kind of wings. Because flying characters are difficult in game. If you have them just floating around, they can actually feel slow, even though they're traveling the same speed as anyone else.
Yeah.
So with her, it's very important to have these like real fast motions and kind of like little zippy movements in her motion. And then of course here you see her when she changes direction. There is a lot of body weight on it, so we need her body to overshoot and react to that.
Okay, and that's one of the things that really caught my eye when you play and you change direction and she does that like oomph. And I was wondering if that was something that you guys obviously like were thinking about when creating those characters. And this is just one of those things for me personally that I'm very interested in.
Well, I think feels something subtle that you like sort of don't notice until like you're playing something that hasn't had that feel added or something, where it's like, this feels like it could be faster, I should be moving faster or something like that. But when the right motions are put in place where it's like, this feels like I can kind of like emulate that same motion.
It's different because Grim, it's like you control the mech, right?
Right.
And so you see him there, but you don't get the weight and feel of him necessarily that you would with the Fey. So that was really something that I'm glad I got that one out because I was feeling that. So we have a couple other abilities. First off, we want to show Bramble's Patch, which is the longer Q. Now, putting this together from both an art and animation standpoint, there's a lot of different things I want to talk about with her here. But was there any like challenges in just creating this along the pathing for the inside of Agora?
Yeah, so like Adam said, we had to figure out a way to basically take this line ability and break it up so that we can, you know, if it goes off a ledge or goes up a ledge or up a ramp, we can easily make the art sort of support that.
Right.
So it's like broken up into these sections that kind of have roots splaying out outside of their sort of bounds, so that if ever you see one, you know, snap to a ledge, there's at least roots and stuff growing that make it not look like it's just cut off or something.
Okay.
And there's a couple techniques that Thomas ended up using to, you know, he sort of like draws these vines on like a strip of polygons, but it looks 3D, and then he puts just a ton of them in there and a lot of flowers, so it has this nice 3D look to it.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you because I was wondering this. Was there, and I don't actually know if it happens because I've never tried it, was there ever a point in time because of the distance that it goes that we considered putting it up the walls?
So having it like crawl up the walls? We talked about it before. It was one of those things where we have to balance, you know, what we have to do performance-wise. You know, whenever you have to project something on another surface, the game has to actually do that work of saying, where am I projecting from? Am I hitting something? And that stuff just costs.
Right.
And so we basically just settled on having things like roots and stuff hanging below it.
Okay.
To kind of say like, okay, maybe it's like crawling through the ground or something up there. Yeah.
Okay. And Jake, can you kind of speak to the animations for a lot of this?
Yeah, so she was mostly animated by John Malaska. And initially, when he first did this, our idea was that she would just cast to the ground from while she was flying.
Right.
And it just didn't feel punchy. And we're like, all right, throw that arm out even more. And then it got to the point of like, okay, let's have her dive a little. And then it ended up the only thing that felt good was her actually diving up and dive bombing the ground.
Right.
And then I think what we've learned, this is our first full flying character. And I think what we learned with this is that she's never in contact with anything, and it's hard to get like these punch moments. So we had to have her really overextend on a lot of stuff while she's flying in the air, like dive bombing and just going much bigger with her motions.
Okay. And then the next one I want to pull up is the ultimate ability. And now this one, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm gonna just let you guys take this away, because this is kind of a something where you see it, and there's you got the vines coming out.
Yep.
The actual the artifact in the middle animates up. So
You'll see the
you guys kind
spikes
of
on the
talk to how
outside.
that kind of came together.
I would say this was a huge team effort for this one move. We had 3 animators on it. You had John Malaska, who animated the Fey herself. We had Charles Anderson animate the main plant, and then Ray Arnett animated the tentacles that come out. It was a big group effort on the animation side, and I know on the effect side as well.
Yeah, so like when we saw basically what the ability did, we were like, yeah, we have to make this awesome plant that like pulls people in. So we sent it back to Gabriel Wojcierski, the guy who modeled the character originally, had him model up this cool like spiky vine plant, and then John Gibson, the same guy who textured her, ended up texturing the plants. Handed that off to Thomas, who started working on like sort of tech art effects things, where we can make like the vines like swell and like basically get wider as they go up. And so that combines with the animation that I think Charles did the animation.
Yeah, Charles did this guy growing, the plant growing.
Yeah, so there's an animation that has the vines like growing up, but we can't use a lot of bones for it. So we have to combine it with these material tricks that make it look like it's swelling, and there's other smaller ones growing up. And then there's these additional vines that come out that have this like whipping motion to them that grab the other people. And when it grabs people, it actually puts more vines around
I know,
them.
that's the part I wanted to get. So how hard was it to get to the part where it actually spins around the characters and you can see it around
So that part was actually pretty easy, because all we did was we had the modeler create a special vine that's just wrapped around a cylinder. And then whenever we put that on a character, the game goes, well, how wide is this character? If it's steel, they're pretty wide. If it's somebody like Muriel, they're pretty thin. And so it'll scale that vine mesh and just like put it around their waist.
That's so cool.
And so the other vine looks similar to it, and they just kind of jam into each other.
Okay.
That's so cool, because it seems like the plant's like coming alive and like reacting to the fact of who it's grabbing, and then immediately just like trapping them in.
When you say it was a team effort, though, that was a serious team effort on.
It was a big team effort. I think Swords Ultimate was probably our prior big effort for an Ultimate. This one I would say topped it.
Yeah. And design as well. So like once we got the animations in and stuff, they were really helpful in making sure that everybody got pulled in this like snappy sort of motion, right? I think an earlier implementation there was like a slower pull, and then once we saw it with the art, everybody was on board with making this like really snappy yank everybody in.
Right.
And that's the thing, is this is just pure organic. Everything's organic, and a lot of the gameplay stuff is very kind of technical. It's math.
Right.
And so we had to give the illusion that you have this live plant organically throwing these vines out. And initially when you first put any of this stuff in, it feels like exactly what it is. It's a line trace. It's linearly moving these people in.
Right.
And so a lot of the work was hiding the fact that this is just,
Was there anyone on the team that like stared at plants for a period of time while making hair?
We passed around a ton of reference.
Animators looked at fairies for months.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, when you
that was I think I think the biggest thing for me is seeing like the detail and like the snappy animation like also ties it in, like pulls it home, because you have like this plant that she's creating in the universe that like has got to have somewhat of a mind of its own, like if it's snapping these people in, and it seems that way where it grabs its target, confirms that it has a grasp on the target, and then pulls them in immediately. Like I have these people in my grasp, and I like the subtlety I think really actually adds to like the feel of the game. Like talking through a lot of the game feel stuff is like having that happen is now you have some feedback as to what just happened to you. Like where am I? What is happening right now? And I think that's important on like both ends of it.
Right.
So that's pretty much all we got for Jordan and Jay. Really appreciate you guys coming up and explaining
Absolutely.
this. I hope I didn't sound like very fanboyish, because that was. I mean, I just genuinely had a lot of questions about her.
I hope I did sound fanboyish.
It's pretty cool.
Did a good job.
But thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
coming up. We will have you guys
Thanks, guys.
back, I'm sure, more with some upcoming heroes and stuff. But really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, we have Dan and Ali. They'll be up here very shortly to talk through some community. All right, guys, we're back with Ali, aka Myth, and Dan, aka Pantong. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing pretty good.
Excited
Really
to be
well.
here?
Yeah.
Yes. Very excited.
You guys have fun at dinner last night?
Yeah, we had some good talk.
Okay,
Good Southern food.
that's good. That's good. So both of you guys been involved with the game for a very long time now. I want to say since both of you guys been since the OTs, if I'm not mistaken.
OT2.
Dan was out at our event in January that we had here at HQ.
Early on.
Very early on, and I think I've seen you streaming from the day we could start streaming.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to start that day, but
Was
I
it
think
like
it was
the
about
next day?
it was about a month after I started actually streaming because I had like computer problems.
I feel
but
like I know that you were going for the day straight streaming,
yeah,
at the number of days straight streaming. Did you technically since you're here, you've now broken your streak? Or is
yeah,
that, yeah. So
Well, I'm talking. I'm trying to figure out my mods. Like I'm thinking like, okay, it's kind of stream related. The fact that I missed yesterday, it's like the whole part of it's all together.
Yeah,
So I'm
just
thinking
trying
about
to
just continuing
finagle
it.
together.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with an excuse as to why I don't have to ruin the streak and start over. But we made it to like I think it's like 78 days or 79
good.
days. So
it's pretty good.
yeah,
Sorry to do that to you.
it's okay. It's
I
worth it.
apologize. Yeah, it's totally worth it, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. All right, so got a couple questions for you guys. I'm gonna let you guys ask some questions as well. First one I want to know is for you guys, and Dan, I know you've been in Epic community for quite a while, but what kind of drew you guys to Paragon in general?
So when I I'll take it first.
Go
sorry.
ahead.
So when I initially seen Paragon was when we just had the basic like website page with a couple of heroes just like standing. I was
teaser
like,
site.
Right,
yeah,
the
the
teaser
teaser
site,
site.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's a shooter with cards. And I was like, okay, I love shooters. It came from COD Community and just a bunch of other shooters. I was like, okay, so let me just sign up for this, and that kind of drew me to it. And then I noticed I seen the announcement trailer, and I was like, what is this game?
Right.
It's a MOBA. I love MOBAs, so I decided, that I'm gonna actually really get into it. And then I noticed the email OT2, and I played it, and I was like, it's a beautiful game, and it played really well, and I just loved it ever since then, really. And then, that took off from there.
Okay.
I've been an Epic fan for a while, so I've been following Fortnite and UT, and one day I popped up and I saw the Twin Blast video on YouTube, and I was like, this looks pretty cool. Been watching, look back and forth, and I found you guys keep posting videos, but no information now. You had the little teaser website, but there's no information now. I was like, it's a shooter, it's a cards. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And
Get an exclusive Twin Blast card.
When it was like early December when y'all opened up, said y'all are a MOBA. I'm like, I'm in. I'm looking for a new MOBA. This is perfect. I got all my games here, shooters and MOBAs, and really happy and excited for it. So
Okay.
Was this each of like I think you said you love MOBAs. Like, was this your second MOBA, third MOBA?
Yeah, I came from League. I didn't really play much Smite. I played Smite here and there just when I got aggravated at League. But yeah, this would be like my second MOBA that I've
Nice.
like really
Okay.
got into.
League of Legends since beta, but then I stopped for a while, went to Smite, and got done with Smite pretty quick, and went to Heroes of the Storm for a while actually.
Okay.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. So
Diverse.
did you play it all with Notch and Shane?
Actually, no, I didn't. I didn't even know they existed until Paragon.
So, you know, for you guys, what kind of motivated you to start streaming?
Well, I was in school. I always wanted to play with streaming. I did a couple streams. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to do it for Titanfall, and I like Titanfall's gonna be big. It's huge. And I did it for a week. I did like 70 hours. I did like 2 24-hour streams, and then I didn't play Titanfall anymore. But I really liked the people that stopped by and had this great like little community, and it kind of just grew and grew. And every time I showed up, more people would show up, and there's amazing people on Twitch, and it's a fun
for sure.
community.
Yeah, so I always loved the whole factor of community and being able to create your own community. But ironically, the real thing that like drove me into streaming was the Paragon community, like OT community. Since we had to wait to play, you know, like the 2 to 3 hours that we're allowed to
Right,
play on
yeah.
weekends, you would have people in our general channel on Discord that we would just talk to each other about the game, rewatch the announcement trailer like 6 times within a day, and try to like find
Just
stuff.
hosting
Like,
viewing
I was
parties.
I was looking at the beginning of it. Like I had like a couple of people. We were just going frame by frame, looking at like the stuff on the walls in the beginning opening scene, and that just
Oh,
got me into
I
that.
could just imagine like a frame
Yeah.
by frame breakdown. They're just taking notes. Like, all
They were
right,
like,
what do we
there's
see
a
in the
triangle
scene?
and circles.
Counting
Write it down.
heroes and
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
know
what
what's
got me
funny
into it.
about the trailer was there's so much discussion. Anytime it's shown, right? Like people would literally drop what they're doing. I've been in on a Nacho stream watching, you know, Agora Rising or even Paragon Masters. They kind of talked about it there a little bit. But it seems like whenever that is shown, people will have that reaction like, man, I remember I watched that like, you know, 5-6 times. And it's funny to hear because we kind of had the same reaction here the first time we saw it. We're like, wait, play that back again. Hold on.
Yeah, one more
Did
time.
you see that part? Hold on. Wait. Go fast forward right there. Look at the meteor.
Yeah, because
Right, like-
I'll see
Yeah.
clips
Yeah,
and stuff.
totally.
And like I remember I even like saw the video and we saw the meteor and just immediate screenshot. Boom. That's wallpaper material right there.
I'm hoping we get the same reaction on the next trailer.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's-
open beta is right around the corner. What type of plans do you guys have for your channels and what you guys want to do going forward with the game?
just more consistent. I have had problems lately, so I'm back to streaming again. So
Okay.
just trying to get more longer streams going. I know for the open beta, I kind of want to try to do a 24-hour. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing yet, but that's what I'm aiming for right now. So
Okay.
That's cool.
I have the crazy ambitious idea of playing with only starter decks on a alternative account to level 50. So I came up with that idea last night with Pantong and Tori.
Okay.
Actually, so that should be interesting to
That
see.
sounds like a good
That's
challenge.
something I want to do.
I'd be excited for
that.
that. Yeah.
And then on top of that, I want to do a sort of community cast with the Discord community where I think it would be hosted every Mondays or whatever, and we would basically go in there and talk about the week's worth all together of with the Discord community of the week's worth of stuff that happened in the Paragon community and that happened to Paragon in general.
That sounds really cool.
Nice.
Now,
That's awesome.
you mentioned the Discord a couple times now. For those that don't know, Paragon Discord's been around since maybe OT1.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it started then.
I want to say the last time I checked, there's like 5,000 or so members in it. So we have it in a couple different places. I know it's on the Reddit, posted there. We posted to it a couple times in the forums. But if you're not in there, great group of people in there. Janelle, one of the best mods I've ever seen on
Yes.
Discord. She's on it. So I mean, there's a great
It's
group.
like super helpful for like if you're
Yeah.
new beginner and want to learn anything
A lot
about
of
the
questions
game.
asked, a lot
There's
of
a help channel
discussion.
now, don't they?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
specifically for like asking for tips and
Questions,
stuff.
yeah.
There are probably 15 or so devs that kind of lurk in there. So again, we all sit in there. We love community stuff. So again, Ali's mentioned it a couple times, and I want to just hit it here. If you're not in that Discord, you should really think about joining up in there. I want to give the floor to you guys, let you guys ask some questions. We typically drill everyone. I want to kind of switch it up a little bit and let you guys. I already know you have a Reddit thread that I saw. I went through and looked at the questions. We can answer what we can in the time because I know you guys got to go here shortly.
So it seemed like the top things that were recognized on that Reddit post that you just quoted was I guess matchmaking and the whole factor of, you know, it's been a thing for a while where you could be solo queue and you'll be instantly shoved into like a 4v or a 5-stack or a 4-stack, and it'll be a really unfair scenario or situation for you to have to deal with. So is there any sort of insight or, you know, talk about that you could give to the community and us about what's happening with matchmaking?
So I can give you a general mindset. We're probably Catherine, Catherine Barner posts a lot of the matchmaking blogs. Maybe she can do another one kind of talking about this. But here on stream, what I can say is, you know, one, we're not going to solve for that, at least in the short term, the solution for I'm at the top of the 1600 with MMR cap, right? And I play against the Diamond group or whatever, you know, Agora is typically what you guys reference. They're also at the top of the MMR cap. They're searching. They've probably been searching for a while. And because there's a limited pool at that top end, they have to find the next best group, right? So unfortunately, you know, I understand it's definitely frustrating to play against, you know, 5-man pre-made group, but realistically, you know, we don't feel like there is a solution in the short term that's going to satisfy that group. I've heard things like, hey, don't let them play together. And that sounds, I mean, that sounds really ridiculous to say I can't have my 5 friends play together in a video game, right? So for us, that's not a solution. I think ultimately what we're looking for is additional playlists that will only allow you to solo or dual queue. It's been mentioned a couple times in the forums. That's initially what we're thinking about for ranked. But in the short term, you know, if you're at the top of the MMR cap, you will play better players, and some of those players organize and group together, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and ask the next question?
Sure. We know how the community feels about travel mode. It's a lot of mix, but how do y'all feel about it, like, personally? Well,
I could speak for, you know, our direction that we want to take is we want to remove it, right? So I think a lot of us recognize how it impacts the game in a negative way, right? Steve Superville actually posted he made a blog post talking about auto sprint, right? And he presented a lot of the scenarios that having travel mode introduces. And auto sprint doesn't necessarily get rid of any of those other than making it longer to activate than the previous travel mode initiate. So, you know, I think that it's a solution it's a short-term solution that we're still going to run with for the immediate future, but obviously we're going to remove travel mode from the game. There's no questions about it.
So another big topic that's been, you know, around Reddit and the forums is the balance changes and how balancing sort of works. And you guys did make a blog post about how your balancing system works. And I think I just want to bring it up again because a lot of people have like really mixed opinions about the whole like group balancing. So your casters do all this, your fighters do all this. And personally, I'm on like the side of the argument that feels like it may restrict in balancing. Right. So I just want to know what was the sort of the move to go toward that type of balancing system?
So
Steve kind of touched on this.
Steve touched on it in the state of the game, right? What we're trying to do right now is build a foundation of basically he'll say systemic, or Cameron will say systemic balance foundation. There's a really good analogy that Cameron likes to use with the boat. You heard the boat one?
Yeah, the boat.
Right?
Yeah, that's...
So I'm not going to give that one because I would murk his analogy. But more or less, what we're trying to do is get to a spot where we feel comfortable with what our data is indicating for hero balance across the board, right? We're at a low enough pool where we can group them together and make these changes. And then as we expand on that, you'll start to see individual tweaking
allows to hone in
because
look at
again, right now, you know, we launched the game, and you know, if you talk to any of the designers, they'll tell you, it's like, hey, you know, we had a lot of things with balance that we're unsure, that we needed data on, and the best way for us, and you know, again, Cameron can kind of speak to this more. The best way for us to balance that is to move to this system and then work on it, individual stuff, the further we get out. So right now, we're just trying to build a foundation for the game that you guys are playing right now.
Good. I know a lot of people also had mixed opinions about this, but how do you like the removal of passives? Like, why was that? Like,
That's, I think one of the designers could speak to that a little bit more than I can. The general sentiment was that passives, one, they could be integrated into abilities, right? But the major thing is, if you looked at a lot of the passives, they were not actually contributing to heroes. So for us, we didn't want to introduce something where it wasn't being effectively utilized on the battlefield. And so I think there was a decision to consciously say, okay, which one of these are actually useful?
What do these synergize with the kit? Like, how do they make sense with the hero?
How can we incorporate them into the
Within
kit
the hero,
rather than
yeah.
making a stat that may or may not be effective?
Something that just feels like it's there, something, but like something you're using actively.
okay.
Utilizing, yeah.
Yeah. So next question. So I feel like another big, it's like more of a balanced question as well. The big another big thing that came up, was the it's kind of like in the past now, but the big change to Kalari, and removing the entire assassin type kit that she had, and going toward more this this global presence of a hero.
Right.
So a lot of people feel like she should have kept and just been tweaked to keep up with her assassin type persona, and I threw out like the suggestion of maybe give her like three of her Q throws, maybe tweak down the damage on them, tweak down the scaling, and then make her, I don't know, if you guys remember the way her passive worked with the audio, where if she was coming toward you, you would be able to hear the distance, but you wouldn't be able to hear directional where she's coming from. And I feel like that would have helped her. Those changes would have helped her become a better assassin. But what was why did we go toward the more global presence Kalari instead of trying to tweak her to become more of a assassin type? If you could have any information on that.
I think Colin kind of touched on this in his blog like a while back. Or I think it was either Colin or maybe Cameron when they wrote a blog right after we had the Kalari update.
About what they were
we'll talked about like the binary nature of like her kit before, in that you would go into an engagement and it wasn't something like
you either zero someone or you don't.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
very binary.
And it's one of those things where like changing the kit to the current state was with the idea that you can provide like multiple like aspects of utility to the team, and like there were like elements of her kit that made sense together. So before, like the fact that you couldn't track her was like a little bit better because was a little bit more terrifying because she could just do that like one shot binary thing, but also if she came out and she didn't kill you, it was just like, hey, there you are,
standing there,
yeah.
chilling.
And it's one of those things where now like you kind of I feel like, and this is like personally like me playing, I feel a little bit more stealthy in that like extended stealth time. Like I can actually get around people, I can actually strategically set up things, and it allows me to, I feel like the ult allows me to follow up on kills, and even if I may not be ahead at a certain point, because I feel like a lot of people have been talking about, I get behind on Kalari, I feel like stuck. A lot of the cool stuff that I feel like the new kit opens it up to is I can provide my team with vision, and that alone is super strong right now. I know people will talk to you for hours about the quality of wards right now, especially on some of the Reddit threads I've seen. So I think a combination of those factors kind of led to the rework. But that's
I've actually seen Dan talking about Kalari in a couple of different threads about your success rate with her right now.
Since her change, I haven't lost once. I have like 11 or 12 wins, and I really enjoy her. I think she's kind of weak in the jungle, but after a couple levels, you catch up and you can dominate. I've several times I was able to have all harvesters by 10 minutes. Yeah.
It's one of her kit is complicated. If you spend the time to learn the kit and you have the mechanical skill and knowledge to be successful with her, you can do that. And I think her old kit was like that as well, but it's less of the I'm either going to blow you up or I'm not. Right.
Yeah, it was very punishing if you make a single mistake with her kit.
So I think that was some of the design goals and intent, and I'm sure one of the designers when we have another AMA, right?
Yeah, we can
I'm sure they'll tackle that question specifically and speak a little bit more.
I am gonna need a Kalari deck though, Pantong.
Still working on it. I have no idea.
I'm gonna need to see that masterpiece.
Yeah, I've actually seen him talking about it. I was like, oh,
that undefeated Kalari deck.
That's so you guys got any more questions?
Do you have any sort of insight on where, like, so we always bring up the reference of, we're making the foundation of the game to head toward the, the sort of vision that we have for the game, right? Do you have any sort of insight or that you could tell people of what that vision of the game looks like or what that would be?
I feel like that question is more reserved for Steve or Cameron.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
Okay.
paint that picture here on the stream without them here, because they can speak more towards the vision of the game. I will say that what they want to do and what they want to create is a very competitive game, very competitive MOBA, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that it stays that way. So that's all I got. That's all you guys got.
A lot of questions. You got any more?
Only other thing I can think of is when's lore coming?
Oh God.
I dropped lore.
I had to ask the question, man.
I
saw
dropped
it
lore
on the
every
question.
stream. I didn't do any for the Fey.
Well, I mean, she's plant Agora, right? So.
I don't want to say anything about.
Yeah,
the
I
Fey.
don't.
And I'm gonna leave that one up for a mystery right now. But lore.
Right in.
Should I talk about Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we added so we only had one person working on lore, and we added another person to that team, and yeah, it's getting worked on.
Cool.
Figured.
Lore update. Lore update. I dropped
Yeah.
some lore for Howitzer in the Paragon Masters. So, but this isn't about Howitzer, but I did. It's not about Howitzer. So that's all we got with these two. We're going to answer questions in the stream while those two get set up for their separate streams for the Fey. Tori's going to take them over. Really appreciate you guys being on. Hopefully we answered a lot of the hard questions. I know there's someone on Reddit that's probably
of course.
still wants to ask more. We'll try to answer whatever's in the chat that we missed. But
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I count this as your stream for what it's worth.
Thank
you. Yeah.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Today's definitely, I would love to add it to the counter, but I think I'm going to have to set it. Damn.
Okay.
It's all
Guys,
good.
thanks
All
for
right,
coming
guys.
on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you.
it. Turn out. All right. Hey, we're back.
Greetings.
Waiting. I have to actually pull out my phone. My phone is always in my pocket. I never show it on stream. So we're going to answer questions in the chat, which we normally do at the end of stream while we wait for Myth and Pantong to start streaming. So if you guys have questions, we will try to answer them. Play Paragon, will burst casters and real assassins ever be a thing in this game? Please answer. Tragus Pierce. Did I mark his name?
Yeah, Tragus Pierce. I mean, that's as good as you're gonna get it.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
We try not to merc names. I try. So Tragus, so Steve alluded to it in the state of the game. Gideon's going to continue to get some reworks, so be looking out for that. We're going to continue to add more heroes to the game. So I think that in and of itself answers that question for you. So we'd have no plans to stop creating heroes. So yes, there will be more heroes that do all of the things that you guys are probably looking for them to do. Let's see. We got a question from Messy Cans. In the last patch, an issue was fixed where blue, red, and black buff could stack to level 5 instead of 3. However, now Jungle Minions max out to 3 too. Is this intended or a bug? Actually, that was intended. All camps were supposed to be maxed at level 3, not just the black, red, and blue.
Yeah, something to implement in that we did. Yeah.
Any progress on card crafting? Progress has been made.
Progress.
Yes. So with card crafting, we are working. At least from what I've seen, we have some concept up as of right now that we will probably be talking about here very soon. But it's coming, guys. It's coming. We're working on it. Gideon skins. And we should probably play some Fey B-roll as well while we're answering this, so they
tutorial.
Can continue to see her until.
Sock Wrestler asked add a tutorial. I mean, it's not really a question; it's a statement. But we started adding some of the some of the stuff to help newer players with those like first time notifications that pop up, as well as some of the beginner's guide videos. I just still keep on the lookout. We started doing release notes videos to help guide those newer players coming in from PS Plus and now open beta upcoming, like to help those newer players. So I just be on the eye out for more stuff to help those newer players out.
Let's see here. Any news on new Sparrow skins? Nothing yet on skins. Someone did ask about the Fey skins. If release notes went live, we should have shown her
The Frost.
Yeah,
it's Frost Bloom Fey. Frost Bloom Fey.
Frost Bloom Fey.
Yeah, it's like a bluish because frost and snow and stuff. That's actually really cool. I'm probably gonna pick that one up.
Are you determined to play Fey?
I'm actually like into it because like I'm a support player really hard.
You are, yeah.
But I like usually generally playing tankier supports, but like I'm a big fan of like aggressive supporting where like you harass and like I want my ranger to not have to worry about anything. Like I will take care of it. Like you don't worry about it, I'll take care of everything. Like that's how I like to play support. So this may actually be perfect for me. Like where I just set up the team fight because I like that steel ultimate. I feel like I will like the Fey ultimate. Just putting those together.
Play here. What does the Fey taunt look like? I believe it is in the announce trailer. She holds up that flower, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like that sounds right.
That may be it. Oh, wait. Lots of questions coming in. Hold on. I'm trying to scroll down. When will characters have voice lines? Vazir, we are working on that. I don't have a date for you, but we're definitely working on it for sure. We answered the card crafting issue. Wow, these questions are coming in a lot. Playground, why not add voice chat system much like what we see from CSGO? So we talked about this, I believe, on the AMA a while back in April. And Steve said that, it's not that we don't want to have voice chat. It's just that
it's something we have to work on for the future.
Yeah, it's something that we have to work and build and implement. There's a lot of hurdles in terms of tools that we need, getting the system to work cross-platform, the tech in there. So it's not a simple binary. We can do it and we can't do it. We will, but it's going to take some time to build that out and flesh it out. When will characters... Oh, we saw that, Vazir. We answered that. Since 2.9, match length has increased again. Is there anything going toward reducing it to what it was in 2.8? I think there's still some adjustments that we're going to try to tweak on match times. At some point, I think that the team is going to look at the changes and determine what we can do to, again, try to bring them down. But I don't think there's going to be as big of changes as we saw from 2.7, which were drastically higher to go to 2.8 and then to 2.9. So certainly something we're thinking about for sure. Play Paragon, are you really going to remove travel mode? Yes. Play Paragon, will new heroes still be every 3 weeks after open beta releases? It will be every 3 weeks until we determine otherwise. So Fey will be the first hero, or the last hero introduced before we go into open beta on August 16th. And there will be a hero that releases 3 weeks after her. So it will continue. Let's see where we're at with these guys real quick. Do you have any updates for the people, Mooney? That you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I've been trying to. So I had an excuse. I don't have any updates, but I have an excuse. Because I was talking about the Greystone thing, like how I was gonna like try hard during the hero race. Remember, I promised I would. I told you I would do that.
Oh yeah.
And like I was
what
like,
happened with that?
so like I was going to, and like I was like getting into it, and I like played a game, and I was like, yeah, I got this. I was like killing it, and then like you guys did such a good job finishing the hero race that I didn't have a chance to show up on the leaderboards. So it looks like I've assigned myself to do this on the Fey again, but that's like the that's my excuse. But I feel like the Fey actually does fit more of like what I've been like. I'm like being a support guy. Like I've been playing a lot of Decker, I know, with you, because like you love that howitzer, so setting that up is
well, now you can play the Fey and
and then set up just as much. Yeah.
Excuses. So I told you the only reason I got mine is because my fiance and my daughter were gone for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I got to play during Richter. How many cards can you have the same card? I don't know if there's an actual limit to that. Do you?
The same card? No, I don't.
There's no limit.
Not that I.
Will the DNS issues be addressed? Marvel, if you're experiencing, and this goes for anyone in the chat, if you guys have any issues with the game, you can reach out to us at player support over on our website, or you can post in the bug forums or bug reporting forums, and our QA team will look to see if there's a specific issue that maybe they can help you with, or that if we don't have on our radar, we can specifically target and try to fix.
Yeah, if you have any videos or screenshots including that, is super helpful as well.
Question, can you add a roll on double tab, please? Maybe the stamina limit to 2 times.
Double tab.
I don't quite understand that question. I'm sorry. Nick
Vladan.
Nick Vladan. Let me refresh this and see if those guys are ready yet. Not quite.
Will there be a major patch when open beta starts? Well, yeah,
That would be a big update.
Yeah, generally we have. I mean, the cadence has been following. We have our big updates, then we usually have our new hero
2-point release.
Yeah.
Yep. So you'll have another big release coming up, which will be V3O, which will be the next major release. Be hitting shortly before open beta. Someone said add custom what? Will there be edits to Kalari? She no longer feels like assassin. We actually had a little bit of discussion around Kalari earlier. I think the team is always evaluating how players are using heroes and data on heroes. So, I can never say that a hero won't get reworked at all. So, continue to play, continue to provide feedback on them, and, we'll see where the team ends up landing on that specific hero. Hi, or hey, I was wondering if there will ever be a possible to buy specific cards. Banking cards. Yes, card crafting will allow you to create specific cards that you specifically want to target and go after.
But right now, like we let you folks know like what's coming in the community weekly card pack, what the community pick is, as well as so you can even vote on what specific cards you might want. We went through, I think it's Barrier, Will, Meltdown, and Hunter's Drink. Whew, I just remembered all of them. Yes, so those are the 3 coming in the 30 series for the community picks. So I just keep an eye out on what weekly card packs coming that week in the release notes, and you can, scope out specific cards if you want them. I know we had some popular ones in the past couple of packs, so, I mean, keep an eye out. You never know, your favorite card could be in there.
So we're going to end up hosting Myth first. And apparently he's restarting his game right now, and then he's going to get in. And as soon as we do that, we'll let them take over. Really appreciate everybody stopping by for the stream to see the new Hero, talk about Fey. I still got so hyped when Jay...
Oh, yeah, going through all of
Jordan
that animation, it's super interesting to me because, like, we sometimes, like, they talked about it last stream, I think, like, creating new FX, like, rigs or doing new animation things we haven't done before that opens up the, the scope of what we can do on future heroes, right?
Yeah.
So like by innovating on newer heroes, it like gives us stuff to use on future heroes. Like, hey, we used it in this way. Like, how can we change it to work a different way? So that's pretty interesting.
Are there any plans to further differentiate affinities and make them more impactful? There's actually this great card blog, Maestro Payne, that Colin worked on, as a matter of fact, that talks about some of the plans for the system itself. But yes, there's going to be continued work on it as it pertains to affinities as well. So yes. When will we see banners? Coming soon. Coming soon. Will Greystone get a kit rework, at least some CC? I think, well, like I said before, any specific hero questions you guys have in terms of reworks or balance or anything, we continue to look at data, we continue to look at feedback, and we can never say that a character won't be reworked or the kit won't change, but we definitely are not, we don't want to make knee-jerk reactions to it, so we kind of have to see how they play out before making adjustments. All right, it says Myth is going live now. We'll get ready to host up Myth. Again, we want to stress, if you are here watching, to head over there. You guys will get to see gameplay from Myth and Pantong on their respective channels. Checking his right now. Hold on.
Yeah, and some of the people asking about some, I think they had asked about different maps and stuff. I mean, like we'd said in the past, if you go back to watch the AMA, we went over some of the map questions.
Yep.
And just kind of talking about, we want to optimize for the current map and make sure that we're making sure people can play, and performance stuff. Jordan kind of touched on that a little bit. So,
all right. So we're gonna go ahead and host up the Myth. We hope you guys all enjoyed the stream. Head over there. We will have Myth playing with our comp QA team on the Fey, and then we will host up Pantong very shortly thereafter. You guys can watch basically 2 hours of the Fey in action, maybe even a little bit more. But I hope you guys really enjoyed the stream. Hopefully we could answer as many questions as we could, and we will see you guys next time.